everyone doing? Oh my goodness. Okay, so checking my sound here. I always have to check sound because the last couple times I haven't had sound and I haven't had anybody on live, unfortunately, to tell me that, and then I finally figured it out. But I'm pretty sure I have sound because I see my green bars moving. That's always a good thing. Get my camera adjusted here. I'm trying to figure out all my settings here, and it's a learning process. It is a learning process. So sorry my head is kind of cut off. I will adjust this right now, but remind me to turn it back when I actually get to my mat. Okay, good morning. My name is Kate, and I am putting this Intro to Piyo class on to show people what Piyo is and to show them some of the traditional moves that we use in Piyo, and to show just more the slow motion of the moves, because Piyo is a faster form of yoga and Pilates, and it is technically a fusion of the two, but it's much more different. It's its own format. It's its own creation, and I want to show you all of that today. So if I don't know some of you, oh, my camera's getting blurry. There, I'm good. It has this autofocus feature, and I can't figure it out, and it's driving me nuts. I got to do some Googling. My name is Kate, and I am hosting all through December free virtual live stream classes just like this. So this is in live real time. It is 6:47 a.m. here in Minnesota Central Time, and it's super fun to be able to do this and to take my love of teaching on the internet and reach people that maybe I could not reach. And I just love it. I absolutely love it. So this month is all trial and error. I'm really learning how to use YouTube live streaming, using all my new software, using my cameras, using my mic. So I hope this sound is good for you, and you can use the chat box here on YouTube to talk to me and let me know if the sound is good. Let me know if you have questions as I go through things. That's super helpful, and I love when I hear from people, so don't be shy. So I am going to go through, I have an outline for how this is going to run. I'm not going to keep it past an hour for sure. And if you have to go, obviously go. I'm not going to know when you leave. I can't see you. And I'm going to have break up this entire video when I'm done with it into smaller videos and have them posted on my website so that people can always reference these for specific moves, because Piyo does have some moves that if you're not familiar with yoga, you might not know what these moves are, and then when you hear me saying them in the class, you're like, what? And because it's fast paced and we're going to the beat of the music, there really isn't time for me to break it down during the class, and so I thought this would be a really good idea to do this. So first of all, when you join a live stream with me, I will always have the live stream started 15 minutes before class starts, and you will see that welcome screen that you saw for quite a long time, 15 minutes exactly. And then right at the class start time, I pop in with my camera, do a quick little intro, and then we get to the workout. And so I will always go over, like you can see on the side of the screen here, I will always go over reminders for you about the class. Now today we're going to be going super slow, so some of these might not apply. I mean, obviously safety still applies to everything, but we're going to be going super slow today, and really just showing you and demonstrating the moves. I'm going to show you modifications that you can take. So I'm going to show you some beginner modifications, mostly beginner modifications, but if you're more of an advanced worker outer or you're an athlete, you probably already kind of know how you can modify to up the intensity. And of course, take breaks when you need to. You can pause and rewatch on YouTube, which is super cool. So it has a DVR feature, which means you can pause it if you need to, and then you can resume watching. Now, if you do that, you won't be in real time, which I know is kind of cool, but that's an option for you. And then, Piyo is all about the music, so that's why I tell people, like, if you are off of the beat or you're getting frustrated, don't let yourself get frustrated. This is just a workout that is meant to just make you feel alive and strong and confident. And so if you get off the beat, no worries. Listen to the music and do what you can do. Pick a move you do know, and you will fall in love with this format. So let's get into some of the basics of Piyo. So then after our little intro every day in our class, I will have a screen that looks like this, and I'm covering up, but I'm in my main camera here, and oh, there we go, blurry. dumb. I don't know its tricks yet. So there we go. So I will always do my main workout here, and I'll put that camera down a little bit. And then on this side cam over on, I'm backwards here. It's over here, over there, over here, over there. This is tricky. There we go. Over here is my side cam, and so you can see me from a side angle, and then that's really helpful to see, you know, your alignment, because sometimes a front angle doesn't show that. So I'm super pumped that I figured out how to do that with the side cam. Okay, so then let me get my notes here. Okay, so Piyo, like I said, it's a combo of yoga and Pilates. It's music based. It's choreographed to the beat of the music, so we go to the beat. It's low impact, which is amazing. Now, you will see some high impact moves in some of our power sections, but there's always the option to not put the impact in there, and that's why Piyo is so great, because you don't have to do, you know, the high knees, the jumping. There's not like jumping jacks, and sometimes there's going to be burpees, but you know what? There's modifications, like I said. But that's what's so cool about it. You will sweat though. It's low impact, but not low intensity, and people really confuse those two terms a lot. So low impact does not mean low intensity. You can make this workout as intense as you want, or you can dial it back and make it less intense. Like for example, yesterday, because I have literally been working out like 15, 16 days straight, and I was like, yesterday I needed to dial it down, and so I did. I led a class, and I totally made everything super low impact, super low intensity, and it was great. So yeah, what is Piyo? What Piyo isn't? It's not high cardio, although your heart rate will get up, but it's not like your traditional like boot camp high cardio type class. Not at all. But it's also not a light class either. You will sweat. You will sweat, even though a lot of our positions are static holds. That doesn't mean you're not working. So the other really cool thing with Piyo is you do not need equipment. No equipment needed. You can use a mat. A mat is really important more for the grip of your feet. And so if you're on carpet, a mat is really nice because obviously carpet is slippery. I work out on a concrete floor up here, so I like to have the mat obviously because it's a little bit of a cushion, and the concrete up here is polished, so it's super slippery. Shoes are optional. Shoes are optional in Piyo. So if you don't want to wear shoes, if you have enough grip on your floor, you don't have to wear shoes. A lot of people don't. In fact, if I was not on concrete up here, I would not wear shoes. I prefer to not wear shoes, but because it's concrete, I do. And some other optional items you may want. I know you can buy like those grippy yoga socks. So if you didn't want to wear shoes but you wanted the grip, I've actually been meaning to order a pair and I just haven't yet. And then if you are somebody who's more advanced and you do want extra intensity, you can always add like a weighted vest, or you can buy those like 1 pound or even half-pound weighted gloves. That's a great way to add extra intensity to your workout without adding a ton. So the biggest thing with Piyo that's for beginners, you're gonna notice your wrists. Your wrists are going to get sore because we do a lot of, it's all body weight moves. And so many of the moves, you're going to be holding yourself up with your wrists. And if you don't have strong wrist strength right now, which if you haven't been working out, you probably don't, you're going to feel that. And a lot of people mistake wrist strength, and they think that they're doing something wrong, and they think that, oh my gosh, I'm hurting my wrist, and this is not right, I shouldn't feel this way. No, it's just that you're just not used to the workout yet, and your wrist strength, just like any other muscle, it will build up. So that's probably one of the biggest things just to watch out for, and just to know that it's totally normal. And I'll show modifications to alleviate some of that wrist pressure in the beginning. And then, of course, if you're new to working out, you're going to get sore. Your muscles are going to feel sore. You're going to work muscles that you probably haven't worked in a long time, especially with Piyo, because we are doing so many different unique moves. And so that's all part of it. It's all part of it. And just work through it, keep going, don't stop. Okay, so let's get into some of the moves that you're going to see in Piyo. And then I want to talk about at the very end the different sections of Piyo, because Piyo is very strategic in how they put together the moves. And so, and when I say they, so Piyo is a format that is choreographed through a company, and then what I do as the instructor is I purchase that choreographed round. And so the professionals are doing all the choreography for me, and they're putting all the moves together and the music, and then I buy it and learn it and give it to you. And so so they're doing all the work and I just teach it. So a lot of the moves are the same though in each of the rounds, and then it's just put together in slightly different ways. So once you know all the moves, all the rounds become much more, you just get really much more into it. You know, once you know the moves, you can feel confident in them, and you can give more to them, and you can focus more on your form versus like, what am I even doing? And then you're going to get a better workout, and you're going to feel the music more because you're less focused on the basics. You know what I mean? So let me show you some of the most basic moves. Now, I just wrote these down in kind of order of what came to me. So from our warm-up all the way through, and this is just our current round, and then I threw in a few extras. So we'll see how long this takes us to go through some of these, and of course do them with me as you are watching, and then we'll just kind of see how the time goes. So I want to start with some of the most basic moves from our warm-up and our section called heat building. And so let me put my notes. Now, I hope this sound is okay, guys. I want to make sure it is okay for us. Let me just double check a few things. Give me a moment. Why don't you get settled on your mat? And I'm going to keep the music a little lower right now. Normally in my regular class, I like to blast it because I love music, and I think music is so important and just wakes us up. But for today's purposes, we're going to keep it a little lower. All right, I think we're good. So, some basic moves, and some of these moves are super simple, but I want to show them to you because you're going to hear the terminology, and the terminology can sometimes throw people off too. So even though you're like, you might be thinking like, why are you showing me this super simple move? Well, I'm showing it to you so that you know what to do with your body when you hear the words, even though it's super simple. So you're going to see and hear me say fan up a lot. And fan up is just a simple, you're taking your arms, you're slightly bending your knees, and see how I'm crossing my arms, and you're just fanning your arms up, nice and tall. And then 99% of the time from this position, you're going to hear me say fold. And so from this position, you're folding at your hips, and your arms are just coming nice and strong next to you. That's a fold. So that goes faster. It's a fan up, and then it's a fold forward. Fan up and fold. And when I'm folded, my hamstrings are super stretched out right now. My knees are slightly bent. They're never locked. So your knees should never, ever be locked like that. Always a slight bend. So it's fan up, fold forward. So that's a fan and fold. You'll hear that a lot. And I mean, there's really not a lot of modifications for that one because it's a pretty simple move. Most people don't need to take a modification for that. Of course, if you want to give it a little extra intensity, if you want a little more, you can add a little more of a squat there. You can get a little lower and bring it up a little higher. So that's just a way to add a little extra, and that extra does add up when you're doing that move over and over again. But otherwise, not a ton of modifications for that one. So that's our fan and fold. This next move I want to show you is probably one of the most tricky moves people get hung up on in Piyo, and the whole entire move together is called a sun salutation. But you're not going to hear me really reference it as that. You're going to hear me call out a series of 4 moves, and it goes pretty fast, okay? So I'm going to break down each of the 4 moves, and then we're going to put it together. And this one I do want to run through a little practice song with you because, like I said, this one just goes fast, and that's just part of it. But good news, you already know the first part of it. It's the fan fold. So the whole part of a sun salutation It's really just working your whole body in a series of 4 fluid movements, starting with the fan and fold. So when you're fanning up, we fan up, we fold forward, and when you're folding in your sun salutation, you're going to hear me say half lift right here, and that really just means you're just lifting just a couple inches up and just flattening out that back. But see how my knees are still bent? So knees are never locked. So half lift just literally means lift up a teeny bit. You're just lifting up a teeny bit. Then from here, you're going to hear me say drop to plank. So drop to plank, you're going to put your hands on the ground, and you're going to bring your feet back, and this is plank. We're going to be in plank a lot. We're also going to go through plank too. Plank is a very, very challenging move if you're holding it in static position for a long time. And so if you can't hold full plank like this, putting your knees down is completely acceptable. Let me back up a little bit here. Plank on your knees is just as effective for your core. And as you build your core strength, then you'll be able to hold the full plank. And when you're in plank, you can feel every single muscle is tight. Every single muscle is working in plank, literally. Like I'm starting to shake right now. So from plank, what you're going to hear me say is chaturanga. So chaturanga is when you are pressing, you're lowering yourself down through your triceps, and then you're letting your thighs hit the ground, and now I'm pressing up through my palms, and I'm going into up dog. Okay, so up dog, I'm kind of readjusting myself here. Up dog is when I'm pressing through my palms, I'm lifting my chest, my thighs should be off the ground, but if you're a beginner, let them stay on the ground. The biggest thing with up dog, don't let your head slouch in. See how my head is like slouched into my shoulders right now? Push your head away from your shoulders. Okay? Then from here, you're going to curl your feet. Let me move in my side cam here, sorry. See how I curl my feet? Curl, curl. And you're going to press through your palms. You're going to lift your tailbone up. And you are now in down dog. And down dog is a position where your ears are pretty much glued to your arms. And all my weight is distributed evenly in my palms of my feet and my hands. And I'm looking at my toes. My head is really in alignment with my arms. And my tailbone is up in the sky. Like there is a string pulling me up right here. Okay, and now the goal here is if I press my heels to the ground, that's going to really activate my hamstrings there. And the more flexible you are, the further you can press your heels. And a lot of times we'll just hold down dog like this. And sometimes we'll pedal our heels. And if you hear me say pedal, all I'm doing is I'm lifting my left and right heels back and forth, literally like I'm pedaling. And see how my knees just move a little bit? My tailbone is pretty much static in the air. Really, it's just my lower body moving. My arms really aren't moving. My head is not moving. I'm just pedaling. You'll hear me say settle and pedal. That's just this. And you can go a slow pedal. Oh, it feels so good. So from here, to get out of down dog, we step it in. So when you hear me say step in, you're literally just going to step your right and left foot in, step in, and then you carefully bring yourself up, and we're back to the top. Okay? Now, that was super slow. When we do that in real time, it's way fast. So let's go through it a little bit faster, those 4 moves. So again, those 4 moves right there, that's called a sun salutation, but I don't ever call it that. But I just want to let you know. Like if you want to Google that and see like what sun salutation is like from other people, that was what you can look up. So let's try that again a little bit faster. So sun salutation, it starts with a fan up, fold forward, half lift, drop to plank, chaturanga, press into up dog, curl those toes, down dog. Hold it, step it in, right, left, or left, right, doesn't really matter. And we're back to the top. That is a full sun salutation. And we'll do that to some music so you can feel the beat of it. Okay? Okay, so that, like I said, that's probably one of the most challenging moves, just because of the sheer speed of it. So let's put it to some music real fast, just a couple times through. And you can feel it. Let's see, I want to make sure my music's okay. We'll just keep the music kind of low today so you can really hear my voice. Okay. The center of your mat. Aren't you excited? You're going to know all this. You're going to be a pro. You'll be a Piyo pro. Piyo pro. All right. Here we go. Fan it up. Fold forward. Half lift. Drop to plank. Chaturanga. Press to up dog. Curl to down dog. Step it in and fan. See how fast that is? We're going to keep doing it. Half lift, drop to plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Awesome. Step it in and fan. Fold, half lift, drop to plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Step it in, fan it up, and fold. Half lift, drop to plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Step it in, one more time, fan it up. Got it? Half lift, drop to plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Step it in, fan it up. Let's stop there. Awesome, 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 awesome. So, modifications for that one, if you can't keep up. One way to always modify is to just go slower. You don't have to keep up with me. Like I said, you can go as slow or as fast as you need, and you will improve over time. So a couple modifications I just want to point out though for that one. When you are dropping to plank, so if you're a beginner and you're dropping to plank, do the step back. So my hands go down first, and I'm just stepping my feet back, right and left or left and right. And if you're a beginner, go to your knees. You do not have to stay on your toes. Plank is very challenging. So from here on your knees, you can still press through to chaturanga, and then you're right on your knees to come up to up dog. So that's a modification there. For down dog, there really is not a lot of modifications because you're just in this position. I guess modifications would just be to take your time getting there. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about lunges. Lots of lunges in Piyo, and people get freaked out about lunges because they're challenging. It's part of Piyo where your heart rate is going to skyrocket and your muscles are going to be screaming. And we do a lot of lunges in various positions. So I want to demonstrate a few of them, some of the most common ones, and then talk about the form for lunges, because I think lunges are probably one of the moves that people get their form mixed up the most. I'm going to get a drink here quick. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the most basic lunge possible. Just a single rear lunge, probably one of the most common ones. So with a rear lunge, what you're doing is you're stepping back with your right or left leg. I'll do the right leg to start so you can see the side cam there. So when you step back, again, how far you step back is going to depend on what level you are at. So if you're a beginner, don't step back as far. However, I will talk about our knee alignment in a minute here. If you are more advanced, then you can definitely bring it back farther, because then you can get lower. And that's going to give you more intensity the lower you're going to get, because you're going to be lifting more of your body weight. So when you're stepping back, the biggest, most important thing with a lunge is where your front knee is. So do you see how my front knee is pretty much directly aligned with my ankle? It's like a straight line, okay? You do not want your knee jutting out like this. You should never be far forward in a lunge. A lunge is a very vertical movement. I'm going up and down. I'm not going backward. I am moving up and down. And that knee, that front knee, is very much just right in line with my ankle. That's the most important part. Now, the deeper you go in your lunge, I can go really deep. If you're more advanced and you want to bring that back knee down, you're working your quad and your hamstring like crazy right here. If you want to keep it more shallow, that's totally fine too. If you're a beginner, you're still working. My leg is still shaking right now. So lunges are very deceiving too, because you can do teeny tiny pulses like this and you're going to be screaming for mercy. So a lunge is a very effective move. So that's the most basic rear lunge. And then we do a lot of alternate legs. Looks like this. Now, if you start to get wobbly, widen your stance. So some people think they have to have their leg. So do you see on my front view how you can barely see my back leg? That's because my legs are so centered and I'm so wobbly. So widen it. See how I just widened it out? This gives me so much more support and balance. And now I can really keep my upper body contracted because I'm not worrying about wobbling and toppling over. And my knee position is still in alignment. So if you're feeling off balance, you gotta widen your stance. So low lunge is another very common variation of that lunge. So we were just in a regular rear lunge. A low lunge is when we drop our hands down. Most of the time our hands are going to come inside our foot. And we literally drop down fully. And we're now supporting ourselves. You back up here a little bit. This is where you're starting to support yourself on your wrist. Now this is going to be based on your flexibility too. If you are a beginner, you might want to grab a chair, or if you have yoga blocks, that helps too, because that's going to raise up the floor for you so that you're not having to go all the way down. And so if you have let's just pretend this is my chair. This is probably a little too high for me, but just as an example, if I don't want to go all the way down to the ground, you can have something to just be your support. I've raised up my floor. And now I can still put up some pressure on my hands, not as much though, because most of the weight is still in my legs. The lower you go, the more weight is going to be in your wrists. So then once we're down in low lunge, back in my position here, we'll move through it a lot. So when I say move through it, I'm just raising my hips up and down. I'm pretty tight right now. Let me just switch my leg here so you can see the side cam. So my front knee, see my front knee? It is still in alignment. It is still directly over my ankle. It should never be far forward. Always over your ankle. And the weight is in my heel. So see how I can lift up my toes? That's what weight in the heel means. It means that my weight is right in the heel, and that's activating the muscles right here in my butt, and my hamstrings, and my quads. Low lunge, also, if this is too much on your wrist, watch what you can do. See my back knee? Drop it. That's going to relieve a ton of pressure, and you're still working. You're still really working those lower body muscles. So then when we press up from low lunge, there's a lot of up and down. You're pressing through that front heel, and you're just lifting yourself up. There's a little wobbly there. That's normal. It means you're working your core the whole time. So that's a low lunge. So we go down and up quite a bit in Piyo to low lunge. The other lunge I want to show you is called a bowler's lunge. You will see a lot of these in Piyo as well. How are we doing on time? Oh, good, half hour. We'll probably do like 15 more minutes. And then maybe we'll do an intro part 2, or I'll just kind of continue this. And I'll put all the videos on my website broken up by move. Okay, so let me show you a bowler's lunge. A bowler's lunge is another variation of a lunge. I love bowler's lunge. I think it feels so good. And the reason we call it a bowler's lunge is literally because it's like you're bowling. So you know when you're like, you go up to bowl and you let go of the ball, boom. That's our bowler's lunge position. So your one leg is going back, weight is in your heel. Show the side cam here. One leg is back, weight is in this heel, that heel. Notice my knee is not jutting out. It is not way out here. It's vertical. And when I'm lowering myself down, it's a vertical movement. I am moving up and down. My upper body is staying stable. So I'm not moving forward, I'm not moving back. Up and down, up and down, up and down. This back leg is just supporting me. Everything right here is what's working. So with bowler's lunge 2, you can move your arms, you can just kind of keep them. In 𝗘𝗧, I really just let my arms move to however my body feels naturally. Now sometimes we will add in moves to bowler's lunge to make them a little more challenging. For example, sometimes we come up and we pull that back knee. That's a modification that you can do if you are more advanced. And that is going to challenge everything, your balance, your core. You're going to be working this leg. So that's an option there. And I see on the other side. So again, your leg is going behind you, just like you've let go of the bowling ball. And then you're going up and down here. Bowler's lunge, FYI, this is where the grip comes in. So you're usually stepping off your mat with this one. My floor right now is so slippery, so be very careful if you have a slippery floor. Like my foot is sliding all over the place right now, and probably need to get some. I don't know what I need to get, but just be careful, because what can happen is if that back foot slides out, you're gonna, all the weight is on your front right now. You're gonna fall over. So vertical movement, up and down, bowler's lunge. If you want to see it faster, we would look like this. Sometimes we'll stay on one leg and we'll burn out that front leg, or we might tap in the middle and then alternate. Okay? But really check that side cam. See how my movement is up and down. It's always vertical movement with lunge. All right, let's go to did bowlers. We talked a little bit about plank, but let's talk about plank a little bit more in side plank. So plank is a very common position. We use it a lot. Awesome, awesome move to build your core strength. So a couple options here. Like I said before, full plank is on your toes. Your back is flat, your core is super tight, your palms are directly under your shoulders. Okay? My butt is down, so I'm not up in the air like this. My butt is down. And if you can't hold this, your option is always to go to your knees. If you're on your knees, just make sure you're keeping your back flat again. And then we do go into side planks. So a side plank is when you're in a full plank and you lift up one arm. Hi, in the side cam, can you see me? You can see my back. So we're on our side. Weight is still in the palm, under our shoulder. Every ounce of your core is engaged right now. This is a very challenging move. If this is too hard, lower that knee. That is totally acceptable. Let me show you the other way. I'm trying to see. Did you see my face that time? I can't tell. So if I'm on the other side, side plank, straight line basically from your head to your toes. Arm up if you want to challenge your balance. And then you can always drop that bottom knee. See how when I drop the bottom knee, I still have a straight line? So that's your modification for a side plank. Again, side planks, you're holding yourself up on those hands. So we talked about that wrist strength. It's going to really challenge your wrist, and that's normal if you're beginning. We did talk about down dogs, but I want to talk about single leg down dogs. You won't see them a ton, and a single leg down dog is always an option. You don't have to take it. It's a very advanced move. But I challenge you to try it because you will build up your booty strength once you do it more and more. So regular down dog, remember that's when we have our tailbone in the sky. Can you see me okay? Tailbone in the sky, weight in the palms, ears are glued to your arms. You're pressing your heels back. You got your tailbone right in the air, string in the air. Now, single leg down dog is literally this position, but you are going to lift one leg in the air. Now, for me personally, what I do, like if I'm gonna lift if I lift my right leg, I kind of slide my left leg in a little bit to get me more center, and then I lift the other leg in the air. And I also adjust my palms. I put my palms forward a little bit more until it feels good. And now you can open your hip up on this one. But I like to keep my shoulders square too. And then I just pulse it. Oh my gosh, that feels so good. Put that foot down, show you the other leg. So like I said, I kind of center my stabilizing leg before I lift. And I am really keeping my head glued to my arms. I'm looking at my toes. I'm trying to press my heel down at the same time that I'm extending my leg. And every muscle in my both legs are being stretched and elongated right now. So that is a single leg down dog. Always optional. It's an advanced move. You can always just lift it up a little bit. It does not have to be high. Or you can lift it and bend the knee too. That's another option. Okay. Whew, blood just rushed to my head. Feels good. Okay, so that's single leg down dog, regular down dog. Let's quick talk about the warrior positions and right angle and triangle. So these are positions taken from yoga. And while I talk about these, I'm going to plug my computer in because it's about to die. So we'll work through the warrior positions. And these are also, all of these positions, guys, if you're not sure, do a quick Google search. That's going to bring up some really awesome images, some really awesome YouTube videos of all sorts of different people showing you the moves, and that's really helpful because you'll just see lots of different bodies doing it, and then you can figure out what your body can do. So warrior one position and warrior two are very similar. So let's start with warrior one. So your right foot is forward, straight ahead. Your back foot for warrior one is about 45 degrees. So 45 degrees to the corner. And when you are in warrior one, again, always check your knee alignment. Weight is in my heel of my front foot. My knee is going to be directly over my front ankle. And in warrior one, your hips are squared forward. So when I say squared forward, it means that I'm not turned out to the side like this. I am turned facing front, and that's why that back foot is at an angle. And in warrior one, your arms are sometimes up here, sometimes you're looking up. It's good to challenge your balance. That's warrior one. And when you're from warrior one, warrior two is very similar. All we're doing in warrior two now is we are opening those hips to the side. See how my hips open up? My arms come down, and now my back foot is fully perpendicular to my front foot. Okay, and I've got my chest up nice and strong. I can get lower in that front leg if I want more intensity, but make sure when I say lower, I don't mean further forward. I mean lower. See how my knee is still aligned. And in warrior two, your chest is up. Your arms are strong and tight. Your fingers are forward, and it's like you're stretching from the front of the room to the back of the room. Your legs will start to shake here. And you're working your arms, you're working your chest, you are working your core because everything is stabilizing you. That's warrior two. Now warrior three is when you're pressing through that front heel And your arms are at your sides now, nice and tight and strong. And warrior two, let me back up here. You're lifting forward. Well, not lifting forward, you're lifting your back leg. And you are on one leg, and I am toppling over right now. I can't really get in the screen with everything here. And your toes are facing the ground. And the goal is to balance and hold that. See how my knee is not locked? My knee is not locked, my back is flat. Basically, I have a straight line from my toe that's in the air all the way to my head. That's warrior three. So modifications for these moves, really your modification is going to be how low do you want to go. So for warrior one example, if I'm way up here, this is not a very deep warrior one, and that's going to be less intense. And if you want more, you can get lower in that warrior position. See how my leg is closer to the ground now? This is going to be more weight bearing, and it's going to give me more intensity. Okay, same with warrior two. I can hold it way up here if I want for less intensity, or if I extend that back leg a little bit more, I can get low, 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 low. This is challenging. This is going to make me shake and sweat. So your modification is really how deep do you go. But always make sure this knee is always right over your ankle. Okay, let's talk about right angle and triangle moves. So these are two more moves that you'll hear called out in Piyo. Right angle. Right angle is when you've got your front foot forward, back foot. It kind of depends on where we're coming from. Sometimes we're coming from a warrior position, 45 degrees or perpendicular. And a right angle move is when your front knee, technically, is supposed to be at a right angle. But if that's too much, it's just a bent knee, knee over the ankle again. And you are coming up. You've got your straight arm in the air, extended up. And I'm kind of holding myself up on my knee here, but I'm also using my core to hold me up too, so it's not fully leaning on my leg. Okay, that's right angle. And then triangle is when you straighten that front leg, but it is not locked. Okay, it's straight but not locked. And now I lower that front hand down, fingertips to the floor, and my other fingertips are to the sky. My hips are pressing to the side wall, and this is hard. I am wobbling all over right now. I don't know if you can see it, but I am. My whole body is wobbling. And this move is going to challenge you that way. And if you look up at your fingertips, you're going to wobble more. So if triangle is too much with your hand to the ground, just bring it up. That's okay too. Or bring it up further. So those are your modifications there. But wobbling is okay. Wobbling is okay. That means your core is being tested, and that means your core is working, and that means your core is getting stronger. And the more you do the move, the less you're going to wobble, because the stronger you're going to get. Okay? So those are the right angle and triangle positions. How are we doing on time? 7:30. Okay, we've got about 15 minutes left. Let's talk about, you know what, let's talk about three-point balance and crouch, because you do see those in the current round. We'll get through these last few pretty quick, and then we'll do a couple practice songs. So, three-point balance. Three-point balance is, it's not a full low lunge, but sometimes we start in a low lunge. Basically, one foot is going to be forward. You're going to be coming down on your both hands. And it's called three-point balance because, as you can see, once you look down, you're balancing on your two hands and your foot. And then your back foot is raising up and you're pulsing. Okay, modifications here, keep it low. This is a low three-point balance. If you want more, bring it up. Your weight should be in your heel on this one. So see how I can still lift my toes on my stabilizing leg? That's because all the weight is in my heel. That's 3-point balance. So yeah, so modifications for that is how far do you lift your leg? If you lift your leg a little bit, that's going to be less intense and more easy, better for a beginner. If you're more advanced, get that leg in the air. So really, Piyo is about knowing what you can handle, and always try. Because you know what, if you can do a couple reps in the more intense version, awesome. And then once you're about to die, then you can bring it down, right? Always try, push yourself. Crouch. So actually, I want to demonstrate this. Crouch is a position that we will kind of go back and forth with plank. So when you are in plank, here's what plank is. A crouch is when your knees are bending, you're pressing through your palms so that your butt is back, but my knees are not on the ground. See how they're hovering? That's a crouch. And we do this back and forth with plank. So we'll say plank, crouch, and we do a back and forth movement. If that's too much, you can always do it on your knees too. Okay, so here would be, it's more of a child's pose. Child's pose, plank. So that's a modification from the real crouch. We'll also do that back and forth movement between plank and down dog. So from plank, there's a part of the current round where your tailbone gets pulled up into down dog and back and forth like this. So all muscles are tight here. All muscles are engaged. Remember, it's like you have that string on your tailbone for down dog. And so when it pulls you up from plank, notice my butt is going up. Everything else then goes into position. That string is still there. It's lifting me up. So practice doing plank back and forth with down dog and plank back and forth with crouching. That will come up quite a bit in Piyo. Let's talk about dancer. We do have dancer in the current round. And this one's tricky. It's a balance pose. It's a static balance pose. When you are dancing, quote unquote dancing, you are lifting that back leg, and I grab the inside of my foot. So a lot of people tend to grab the outside of their foot. See the side cam? Try grabbing the inside. That's going to help you be more stabilized. So you can start with a quad stretch like this. This is kind of the beginner's version of dancer. This is totally acceptable where you're just holding that quad out. And then as you get more advanced, you can pull up and use that front hand to stabilize you. And you see how far you can get. And then you fall over. Okay, so dancer it's a fun move because it really tests your flexibility. And it looks amazing and it feels amazing. Keep that front chest up. Your front chest, like you have a back chest. And so dancer on the other leg. Again, on that stabilizing foot, your weight is in your heel. Grabbing the inside of my back leg, or my back foot. Here's the beginner pose of dancer, just a quad stretch. And then as you get more flexible and you want to test yourself, then you raise it up. You raise it up, keeping that chest up. Lift using your front hand to help you. Ooh! Oh yeah. Then you can bring it down. So that one's fun to practice. Dancer. We will do child's pose. Child's pose and down dog are always positions you can use if you need a break. Always take a break if you need it. So child's pose, you're on your knees, your butt goes back to your feet, and your fingertips, let me back up here, your fingertips go out. And just like in down dog, your ears are glued to your arms, and you are just reaching those fingertips out and feeling an awesome stretch in your shoulder blades, your back. So child's pose is a very relaxed position, and if you ever need a break, take it. That's child's pose. And down dog is also a good breaking position. Down dog is a good position to take if you still want to keep muscles engaged. Child's pose is more of a relaxed resting position. Down dog it's still a rest, but you're still working every muscle because you're supporting yourself. Okay, you guys, those are the moves I wanted to show you. So here's what I want to do. I want to play a couple songs, and I want to go through some of these moves. And I'm not going to fully choreograph them as we do in the real class. I'm going to do them, we're going to hold them longer, do them a little bit more slowly. But then when you come to the class, look, I'm blurry again. Then when you come to class, you'll be familiar with them, okay? So let's do just 10 minutes of putting some of these moves together. Again, I'm gonna wing it here, so no judging me. This is live. And then when you come next time, you'll know what we're doing, or you'll know mostly what we're doing, right? All right, let me get my camera here. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna pick some songs here, and we're just gonna go for it. We're just gonna go for it. So let's go back to those. Let's do a couple warm-ups here. Give you a good feel for a warm-up. Pretty simple warm-up. We'll do some lunges. Oh, I forgot to show you a side lunge. We'll show you those. We're gonna circle. Now we're gonna right arm reach with 2 squats. We didn't talk about squats very much, but we do them a lot. Left arm reach, 2 squats. Make sure your butt is back in a squat. Circle again. And reach, 2 squats. Circle. And reach, 2 squats. Okay, rear lunge. We learned this. Your right leg is going to go back, but you're going to hold it for a triple. And now it's going to be too quick. So it's a lunge with a variation. Left leg. Triple. See how my weight is over my heel? Too quick. Awesome. Do right leg again. Check that alignment. Bring it in. Too quick. Left leg. So now test out different low or higher. You know, are you high up? Are you low? Oops, I didn't do my quick. Okay, the next one is a side lunge. I forgot to show you this one. A side lunge is a variation where you step to the side. Weight is in your heel, butt is back, and you lower it down, and then you step it in. Okay, so let's do a side lunge to the left. Left, and hold it. Just hold it. See my butt is going back. Bring it in. Let's do the other side. Side lunges are not my favorite, not gonna lie. I kind of always feel funny doing them. Let's do the left side again. So this is a side lunge. We're gonna add in an extra movement here. Bring it in. Now side lunge, hold it. Now bring it in right here. Add a fold and roll. Fold and roll it up. Left side. So we kind of sped up that move there. We added a fold and roll. Let's do that one more time on the right. Bring it in. Okay, now let's add that fan. Remember the fan it up? So fan your arms up, fan. Now fold forward. Just pedal your heels here. Pedal, lifting up left and right. Fan it up. And fold. And pedal. Let's keep it here with the fan. Fan those arms up. Strong arms. Fold. And pedal. See, I'm just bending my knees, lifting my heels. Fan it up. And fold. And pedal. Awesome. Let's hold it here. So that's a pretty general example of a warm-up. We'll do fan folds, we'll do some lunges, do some squats. And you guys, I didn't talk too much about squats, just because squats are a pretty general move, but let's just talk about those real fast. So with squats, we do a lot of them in Piyo. Squats, make sure your feet are a little more than shoulder width apart, maybe shoulder width apart. It's really kind of what's comfortable for you. And make sure when you're lifting those toes, see I'm wiggling my toes? That means the weight's in my heel. You're going to hear me say that a lot, weight in your heels. So the weight is in my heels, and I'm sticking my butt back. That's a squat. And I'm lifting up. Chest Chest is up, core is tight. Modifications for this, don't go as low. So if you're a beginner, just do a baby squat. If you're more advanced, get that butt down. So your level, your intensity depends on how low you go. And you can always alleviate yourself by giving yourself a break if you need it in the middle of the workout. We'll also do sumo squat. So a sumo squat is just a really wide squat. My toes are a little more than 45 degrees, corners of the room. But do you see how my knees are still over my ankle? Okay? This is a vertical movement too. So see on that side cam? So I'm going up and down, up and down. I am not leaning forward. Okay? Keep it up. Chest up, core tight. Everything is activated in your inner thighs here. That's a sumo squat. Guess what? Weights in my heels. I can still wiggle my toes. See me wiggling my toes? That's your test. Okay? Alright, let's do some more of the sun salutation stuff, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, let's get to the end of your mat. So you're gonna just practice listening to what I'm saying and seeing if you can do the move. Okay? You're gonna get it. I promise. I promise. Alright, fan it up. Fold forward. Half lift. Drop to plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Hold it in down dog. Settle here. Settle and pedal. Okay, weight is in your palms, ears are glued to your arms. Butt is in the air. Okay, step both feet in. Right, left. Here we go. Fan. Folded, half lift. Drop to plank. Chaturanga. Press to up dog. Curl to down dog. Hold it here. Try your single leg down dog. Right leg to the sky. Remember your modification here. You can go lower or bend that knee. Okay, foot down. Try your left leg. Alright guys, it's your right leg. If I'm opposite you, just try both legs. You know what I mean. Bend the knee if you need to. See what it feels like. Foot down. Step in. Let's do easy squats here. I practice those squats. Butt back. Waves in the heels. Wiggle those toes. Chest is up. Okay, let's try some lunges. Let's step back with our right leg. Right, now switch left. Easy single lunges. Check my side cam. Remember your knee should be right over your ankle. Now do you want to go shallow or deep? Test yourself. See what feels good. Do you want to go way back? That's for more advanced. If you want to step way back. Or do you want to keep it shallow? Are you bobbing up and down like a vertical movement? Make sure you're going up and down. Okay, let's try to bowler. So from bowler's lunge, remember that's when we're going to step behind like we're bowling. Okay, so it looks like this. Bowl, back. Okay, try it. This is a little fast, so maybe that goes deep. Once you get the footing, then you can add more movement with the arms. Woo. Okay, pause it here. Let's switch legs. Okay, check that knee. Wiggle your heel. Can you wiggle your toes? Is your chest up? Lots to remember. Okay, let's pause it here. Sometimes you're going to see a side lunge with a bowl. Let's try that. So we're going to go out to the right, and then we bring it in, and then we bowl. Okay, so it's a side lunge, tap, bowl. Let's try that. Here we go. Side lunge, tap, bowl. Again. Side lunge, tap, bowl. A little bit faster now. Still all the same things apply though. Weight is still in the heel. Okay, let's try the other side. So side lunge, tap, bowl. side, tap, bowl. Yep, you got it. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up here at 7:45. But I loved doing this, and I'll add a few more videos next week too, with some practice songs for those other moves, like the warriors, the right angles, triangles, because those are a little bit more tricky, and those go better with slower songs. So here's what I need from you guys. First of all, I need to know if this was helpful for you, and I hope it was. I hope that cleared up some questions about moves. And you guys, you can always ask me questions too. So, like, let's say we're doing a workout, and we're in the middle of a workout, and you're like, you don't get it at all, and you have a question. Ask the question. Ask the question in the chat box, and then I can address it either the next day, or in a video, or in between songs. So don't be shy. Seriously, don't be shy at all. So I hope this is helpful, you guys. I'll get these videos broken up and